Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and today we're going to be talking about the negative aspects of YouTube. I am going to follow this up, end things on a positive note by talking about the positive things on YouTube of whether or not you should start your own channel. Now, this kind of stems from me posting a video on my main channel going over how much automotive YouTubers actually make, and some people I could tell were pretty shocked that it's a lot more money than what they thought, and so everyone's like, oh, well, I should be a YouTuber. And hopefully this, two-part video series will help answer whether or not you actually want to be a YouTuber. And I'm not trying to, basically sway people one direction over the other, just hopefully giving the information so you can make the choice for yourself. But let's start with the first negative thing, and that is the cost of entry for YouTube. Now, currently for YouTube, for you to get paid off of it, to be able to make a living off of it, which I imagine if someone was watching this video, that's probably what they want to do, you have to have 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 hours of watch time, which is a pretty high cost. And the reason that YouTube implemented this is people were posting inappropriate videos to YouTube. Those videos were monetized. And so then these advertisers were paying YouTube to pay these people to put their ads on videos that those advertisers didn't want their ads to be on. So obviously advertisers pulled their ads from YouTube. YouTube had to make changes and increase the cost of entry. So the days of people just being able to post random videos and get paid from it is gone. And it kind of sucks to an extent, right? Because it was pretty cool that back in the day you could just start up a random channel, make it monetized, and then just post whatever you wanted video-wise. And, maybe one of your videos blew up and then you got paid for it. And you weren't really a YouTuber per se, but you could still just make some extra money doing something fun that maybe happened in your life. And so that is definitely a big negative on YouTube because, for me personally, it took me technically over a year to get monetized. Realistically, I started my channel and I made videos for about a month and I quit. And then I started up at the beginning of 2019. And after a month of making videos, I got monetized pretty quickly. Actually, it was 2 months. So it took me about 3 months worth of actual work. It was over a year's worth of time, but I stopped making videos, so my channel stopped getting... It still got some views, but it went down to a pretty low amount. But that being said, it took me about 3 months worth of work to get monetized. So I'm now thinking about this. If someone's posting random videos, they're not going to post them for 3 months straight every single day, pretty much, close to every single day at least. It's just, people aren't going to do that. It doesn't make sense. So the cost of entry is just really high on YouTube, and I can understand why a lot of people won't start channels because it's just difficult, right? It's difficult to put in months and months worth of work and not get paid for it. Like, I'm so lucky that I really truly love making car reviews because if I didn't love making car reviews as much as I did, if I wasn't as persistent as I was, then I wouldn't have gotten anywhere because I wasn't getting paid for my work. That being said, though, let's go on to the next negative, which is just going to be your time. YouTube, by my last point, is very time consuming. It's time consuming from the, perspective of it takes a long time for things to get going. And then once you do get things going, then YouTube can be pretty addictive in the sense that, you want to post more content, you want to post better content, all that kind of stuff. You just want to keep up with things. It's kind of like this endless machine, essentially, that you're just putting stuff into. And so you can spend a ton of time just trying to get things going on YouTube. So there was that first entry of time where I spent a lot of time just to get my channel monetized. And then once I got my channel monetized, I spent more time filming, spent more time making videos. Now that I'm doing YouTube full time, I've been spending more time optimizing my channel, spending more time making videos, again, more time editing. I thought that I would actually work less doing YouTube full time. I actually work more than when I was at my day job. When I was at my day job, there were hours and hours that I'd just be sitting around twiddling my thumbs doing nothing. Whereas now, pretty much from the moment I wake up to the moment I go to bed, I'm always doing something. And I'm not complaining. I absolutely love it. But there's just so many things that I didn't know about YouTube that doing it part-time I would have never figured out. I found out that there's more advertisements that I'm able to add onto my videos, which is going to increase my channel's revenue, which I haven't seen a return on it yet, but hopefully soon we'll see that. But I figured out ways to just optimize my channel from an advertising perspective, just making more content in general, all that kind of stuff, and spending a little bit more time editing. And I'm also posting all my videos, not from this channel, but from my main channel onto Facebook. And that's, you know, another video for another day, but essentially just trying to protect myself just in case something happens to YouTube. I want my content to just be somewhere else, even if I'm not necessarily making money from it. I just want my content to be there, just in case. Tinfoil hat moment right there. But the next thing that is actually a pretty big negative of YouTube is, and this isn't for every single channel, but just for the type of content that I film, at least automotive content, is it can be this will be on the positive side of things, is interactions with people. You can have a lot of interactions with people, but then at the same time, and I'm sure a lot of other people that have relatively big channels on YouTube, that do YouTube full-time, I should say, can relate to this. It can get really lonely because it's not a regular 9-to-5 job. You're not going in and you don't have like coworkers that you socialize with or anything like that. I mean, this last week, I've spent probably about half of the week, you know, in almost complete isolation, which has made me go a little bit crazy. But I mean, it's just what happens. Yeah, I could go to a coffee shop and have someone hack into the Wi-Fi that I'm using and steal all my personal information. Or, you know, just staying at home. Obviously, I've chosen to do that, but it can get lonely sometimes because all of my friends and family and all that kind of stuff, they're obviously all at work, and your schedule, because it can be all over the place. You know, sometimes I have to film a video at a certain time. So once everyone is available, then I'm not available. It can be crazy. So that is something to take into account, is your social life, which you think it would go up because you've got thousands and thousands of followers. You actually might have less of a social life because you're not going to have coworkers. And, you know, depending on the type of content on your channel, it just could, you know, potentially isolate you from people because of all the work you're having to do to just get things going with the channel. But the next negative that I would like to go over is actually the money. This is going to be in the positive section, but I do want to put it in the negative section as well. And two reasons. The first reason why I want to put it in the negative is if you don't make a lot of money off of your channel, then obviously that's a negative, right? It's really hard to get a channel up and going to earning a lot of revenue. Once you do get up to that point, it seems like it's pretty easy to keep it consistent and consistently growing from that point. It's one of those things that's, you know, it's crazy to me how much the money just keeps going up and going up and going up. But at the same time, it takes a while to get up there. So it's something that you have to put a lot of time into before you get paid. And so just from a financial aspect, it can be pretty difficult. I can understand. I mean, I didn't really have a first full month. I was only monetized for like 3 days, and I think it was like 2 or 3 days in March, and I made like $100. So my first month on YouTube, I made only $100. My second month on YouTube, full month actually, where I had like a full month of videos, I only made $900. So I did a month's worth of work and only made $900, where I've now had videos that have made 4 times that. So it's something that takes time, but you got to understand sometimes you're just not going to make a lot of money right off the bat. And then the other negative about the money is I've seen some people just let it go to their head, right? They start making a lot of money and they think that they're above people, all that kind of stuff, and just not the right thing to do. And that is not just like solely a YouTube thing. That's just any occupation or anything that you do. Some people, once they start making large amounts of money, then they just let it get to them. And obviously sometimes they overextend themselves, spend way too much money, all that kind of stuff. So there actually are some negatives with, you know, earning a large amount of income. And so YouTube can cause that. And so it's something that if you do start a channel and it does take off to where you're earning a lot of money, I would recommend to be careful with it. You know, I spend only about 10% of my income per month. I recommend to try to be as conservative as you can from a spending standpoint. But what I would also say is just don't let it get to your head, right? I still have the same mentality that I had 7 years ago when I started my first job. I was making minimum wage, and I mean, you guys can tell, like, I don't spend a lot of money on clothes. I don't spend, like, yes, I have a $70,000 Ford Raptor. That's me treating myself. But in general, I keep my spending down as much as possible. And you guys will actually see a video that I've made on my main channel that'll post later this week where I talk about how much money I spend in a day. And most of the days through the week, I actually spent no money, $0, no money at all. Other than gas and regular stuff like groceries, all that kind of stuff. I really don't spend any extra money. So that is something that you just want to take into account. And I mean, that's not just YouTube, that's just life, right? If you get into a position where you make a lot of money, give back where you can, but just don't let it get to your head. It really is something that's pretty negative, so just don't let it get to your head. But I mean, yeah, other than that, I think that's pretty much most of the negative things. I guess that the only other thing that I kind of covered but not fully is just the uncertainty of it all. Like I said, that you can have some uncertainty about income, uncertainty about a lot of stuff, but even if you get your channel up to a point where you have a lot of followers and everything, you may just be completely phased out without realizing it. And I've seen it happen with channels where I've seen channels that have over 1 million followers and they get less views than what I get. And it can happen. And so that's something that, you know, people just have to understand with YouTube is just because the pace of everything, just because you're in the spotlight at one point, you're making a ton of money, that might not be the case in the next, you know, year, or maybe it's even less than that. You just don't know. So there is a lot of uncertainty with YouTube. And so something to take into consideration if you're going to take the risk, just understand that it might not pan out. And I'm not saying have a backup plan. What I'm saying is if it doesn't pan out, don't give up, and just, you got to figure it out at that point. But yeah, I mean, that's really my experience from, I guess, the negative perspective. You know, the negative things about YouTube. Again, I'm going to make a video about the positive things about YouTube that I've figured out, especially now that I'm doing it full time. But just to reiterate, the cost of entry is really high nowadays with YouTube. And you know, on top of that, it takes a lot of time out of your day. And then obviously the money may or may not be there. It just depends on what's happening. And then finally, in terms of staying relevant, it might not be something that's long-term. It might be, it might not be. I mean, there's YouTubers that, again, they've been making videos since YouTube basically came out pretty much, and they're still a thing. But then there's also YouTubers that made videos and blew up and, you know, a year ago, and now they just don't exist anymore. So you just always have to take everything into consideration when you're doing YouTube. And so I wouldn't say tiptoe around it. If it really is your passion, jump into it full on, but just understand what you're getting yourself into. And the next video will be more fun because we'll get into the positive stuff. But as always, if you're stopping for the first time, please subscribe, comment down below what you think, and then I will see all of you in that next video.